Dark Matter by Blake Crouch was a recommendation from a friend of mine. We were at the public library just browsing, and he saw this in the 25-cent bin for the book sale. And he said, I have to read this book. So I read it, and I apologized to him in advance because I didn't like the book. And I'm going to tear this book a new asshole with his review. So Dark Matter's concept is an ordinary man, Jason Dessen. He is a scientist. However, his research dried up 15 years ago at the height of his career because he met a woman who got pregnant, Daniela Vargas. They have a 15-year-old son named Charlie. Sometimes he wonders what would happen if he were to, pursue science instead of a family. But he goes out one day to meet a friend for a drink. However, he gets kidnapped at gunpoint by a mysterious man in a mask. The man makes him go out to an abandoned factory in the middle of nowhere, injects him with a drug, and he wakes up in a laboratory surrounded by people in hazmat suits. That is the concept of Dark Matter, a science fiction thriller love story. I would like to start with what I liked about the book. The book has a couple of cool, creepy moments here and there, some nice twists. The pace is pretty fast. It's a quick read. It's only about 300 pages. And that's it. That's all I have to say about that I liked. Let's start with what I didn't like. First off, protagonist Jason Dessen is boring and bland. I don't even remember the book giving him a physical description. He is a blank slate. But you could literally list what makes him on the palm of your hand. 1, he is a scientist. 2, he is a teacher. He is a father, a husband. Sometimes he wishes what would happen if he were to pursue science. That's it. That's all you get for that character. Even his wife, by having the last name Vargas, you at least know that she's Spanish. So you can imagine in your mind, she is not a white woman. She's probably like Mexican or Spanish, some Latina origin in there. So I like to mentally cast a book. That's just something I do. So for Daniela Vargas, you could imagine the woman from Modern Family, or, the woman from Predators. I like her. However, for Jason, there's not enough given. I don't even know anything about him. And the physical description or just personality-wise, he's just so bland as a protagonist. And he only has one singular goal, which is to get back to his family. And that's great. He has a goal, but that's like the only thing that makes up his entire being. When he goes to bed, he's like, oh, I wish I need to get back to my family. When he wakes up, when he's going around doing things, I need to get back to my family. My family. Yeah, we get it. You want to do that thing, but he doesn't seem to have any other facets of his personality given in the book. What else? Let's see. There are characters that are introduced in this book that don't go anywhere. Mainly, there's the major antagonist is a man who, on the other side, and he wants to help Jason, and Jason doesn't know it. And then there's this other woman who helps and becomes an ally. However, these characters get shafted immediately. As soon as they're brought in, they're literally brought in just to do something and then leave. And that really pissed me off, because why introduce characters if they're just going to do one thing and then leave, and you're not even going to use them for the rest of the story? I thought that was a waste of character. Let's move on to the lack of character traits for all the other characters. His wife, Daniela, used to pursue art. If she were to not have a son, she would become a famous artist. We find out that, what else? That's all there really is to know about her. She likes art. She didn't get to pursue art, so now she teaches art. That's literally her character. There's nothing else. Charlie, the son, he likes art too. I mean, it's almost like these characters aren't even complete. They're just Cliff Note versions of, they're not fleshed out enough. That's one of my biggest complaints about this book, is that the characters are not fleshed out enough. Now let's move on to the story. I did mention earlier that I liked how the pace was really fast. However, it feels a little bit too fast. I mean that in the sense that the book seems rushed. I know that's great because if you want your readers to have a quick read. However, the book is 300 pages and it flies by. It almost feels like there's a man pushing you along, like, I know we're in this montage right now, but move on, just keep going. We're gonna just keep on trucking. We need to get to the finale, so just keep going. No time to reflect, no time to, explore these different little worlds. Just, no, move, keep going. And then that's literally what the book feels like, because it just pushes things along so fast. Within the first, maybe 10, 20 pages, he's already going on the main adventure, and it just keeps pushing, but not in a good way. In a sort of, we haven't fleshed out everything enough on the way. Another complaint I had was that sometimes the book goes for emotion, fails miserably. Jason has to go through these different worlds in order to get home. They're very rushed. There's one where he goes into a plague-like reality where he has to witness his son and wife die. And I know what they were going for, it just didn't work for me because some of the little subplots just didn't work. That one didn't work. I liked the one where he tried to ask out his wife in another world and she didn't. She shoots him down. There's an interesting, creepy part that I don't want to mention for spoilers, but I just felt like some of the parts of the book didn't work. And I like the twist at the end. There's like this huge twist at the end that I'm not going to go into, but the resolution of this twist is also very weak. And the ending just feels a little bit of a light whimper. It feels really rushed. I mentioned this before, but essentially they get down to this final climax and they're taking on these different people, and there's like this quick thing where the sun messes up, and then the father just sort of, just waves it on for later, and then just sort of escape, and then it's over. It's over, move on. And they don't explore the other characters. There's two characters I mentioned earlier. They could have had a nice denouement where they have her do something, but they don't. The book just doesn't feel like going in that direction. The thing that hurts me the most to say is that I looked up some reviews on Goodreads. I like to peruse Goodreads, the website. Everyone seems to like this book. They're calling it this epic sort of love story, this far-reaching, like how far will a man go for the love of his life? And I just feel like that was too much. The problem I had with Dark Matter is that it puts concept and story before characters. So the overarching plot of him trying to get home to his wife and child, it seems to be at the forefront too much, and there's not enough character development. There's not enough fleshing out. There's not enough things about these characters don't feel real to me. They feel like a generic piece of paper man that you could just put yourself onto in order to go on this adventure. But some of the lines are also very cheesy. There's some cheesy dialogue. That's not a big deal. But for me, Dark Matter puts plot and story, not even story, just plot and concept before characters. And that really hurt the book for me because these characters didn't really feel like they had enough going on. The book just keeps pushing you and rushing to the end. Not much of a great finale. So that's my thoughts on Dark Matter. I do not recommend the book. That's just my opinion. I was still able to finish the book. It's not awful, but it's definitely not one of the better books that I've read. So that's my thoughts on Dark Matter by Blake Crouch.